Hi again, everyone. I'm Kim Griffith.
And I am Paul Cotter. Kim, let's talk about the illustrations for our book.
Oh, let's do. That was a challenge in itself, wasn't it?
It certainly was.
So we knew that we wanted to have an illustration for each chapter, and we will have that. But finding the right illustrator was really frustrating. So I think one of the things that is really hard for people to understand is that we have spent so much time with our characters that to us they're real people. We know them so well, and of course, we created them and we can have them do whatever we want them to do. So as we were looking for the right illustrator, the samples we would get would be so horribly disappointing. In fact, Paul, do you remember when one of those pictures came back and one of our characters looked like she was 9 years old?
I do. And the thing is that the drawings were great. Like, they were great artists, but it just wasn't right.
They weren't right at all. They were too cartoonish and not at all what we were looking for. And I don't know if it was because we couldn't describe accurately what it was that we wanted, or if it just fell on deaf ears. I don't know, but it seemed like we would never get the right illustrator.
Right. Well, so one evening I was discussing this issue with Nicole, with my wife, and I remember this vividly. I think I was laying down on the love seat and she was on the couch, and she said, "Would you consider using an illustrator that you know?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Why not?" And I said, "Because I wouldn't want to have to tell them that I didn't like their work." And she was like, "Oh, well, that's too bad." And she had on her phone some drawings that her brother had done for his young son. And she texted the picture to me, and I looked at it and I thought about it overnight. And the next morning I was like, you know what? Those are really good pictures. And I went with it, and I gave him a call, and I kind of explained what was going on and asked if he would be willing to maybe chat with us and see what he could do. And I talked to you about it, Kim, and you said go for it. And so we did that, and voila, here we are with our illustrator.
The best illustrator ever. I remember getting the first drawing of Katie, one of our characters, Katie, and the look on her face was iconic, Katie.
Mm-hmm.
He so perfectly captured everything that Katie is and who she is. I was really excited, and I couldn't wait to see what else he drew.
Yeah, he absolutely nailed it when he drew that picture of her. And I think we both just knew this is it. We got it. And then we kind of changed our process, and we began to meet with him regularly and give him more information about the characters, so that he could draw them more to how we really see them in our minds.
Do you remember, Paul, the little bit of a challenge that was for you because you had a process of how you wanted it to go in your own mind?
Yes, there's me and my processes and perfectionism again. Yeah, but it's interesting. Once you're, one thing I've learned with writing a book is and doing this is when you're willing to release maybe the how and the methods of how you thought you might achieve it, often that's when it comes.
Right.
When you release that and you kind of just let it go and let it flow with whatever comes in, and you calm down a little. I calm down a little. That's when it seems to work out the best.
Yeah. It was wonderful of you to make that adjustment because, as you will recall, the artist became so much more emotionally involved in what he was drawing and how he was drawing it and what it should look like and the whole story. And it became a much more fun and interesting process to kind of release and let him take it where he saw it going. And he hasn't failed us yet.
He hasn't. And, you know, he's taught us. He's taught us things, and things that we wouldn't have known if we had just let the publisher provide us with illustrations. And it's been a great thing to learn that, and to see the imagination and his perception of the characters and the scenarios that they're in, and his recommendations artistically of how that should be portrayed.
Yes, yes. It's really, he's a wonderful member of our team, of our collaborative effort, and I absolutely love a collaborative effort. And do you remember, Paul, when I thought we should have a cartoon division?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Always thinking big.
Yeah. Anyway, for sure, we will be introducing you to him, and we can't wait to get a video up with our illustrator so you can meet him also.
Yep, coming soon.